Enter Yu Jai-yu, an ordinary young man who gets reincarnated as a tree after choking on water. Soon after being reborn, he understands his predicament and resolves to survive in this messed world. After taming many monsters as pets and helping nourish them, he faces many dangers on his way to survival. After defeating and intercepting the human world, he overcomes all the obstacles coming his way in order to realize his dream and become a tree god. Join him and his pets on the journey to becoming the strongest in the world. Suddenly, a change starts to happen in Honey Badger's body. His hair starts to change color, indicating that he has mutated. And so, the bloody battle starts back up again. The Honey Badger launches attacks, one after the other. However, his opponent is taking them all head-on, still refusing to go down. Suddenly, the Honey Badger unleashes a strong attack, knocking his opponent to the ground using electric shock. Xiao King, who is overseeing the fight from the sidelines, gets delighted to see this feat and starts to announce that Honey Badger has won. But her statement is seen to be not true, as the giant turtle's shadowy figure rises back up again in a brief moment. He strikes Honey Badger repeatedly, making him vomit up blood. Exhausted and ashamed about not being able to take his revenge, Honey Badger prepares to use his life to defend his dignity. As they both exchange the final blows of their match, the giant turtle gets sent flying back, revealing one of Yu Jai-yu's roots has arrived just in time to save Honey Badger. Overwhelmed with rage after seeing the state of his pet, Yu Jai-yu prepares to fight against this beast. He orders King to pass his consciousness to his root, allowing him to see from the root's point of view. As such, the epic fight is now starting. He quickly checks his opponent's stats bar. As he glances over it, he also sees Honey Badger and compliments him, praising his determination and refusal to admit defeat. He tells him to rest and leave everything else up to him. After tossing Honey Badger aside and putting him in the care of Red Fox, he then powers up and prepares to attack. Using the technique of his previous foe, War Axe Snake, he launches a powerful attack, dealing so much damage that the giant turtle is sent flying to the surface and ends up dying. The Honey Badger hurries to the surface as well in order to witness the demise of his greatest enemy. Winning the battle in just a single strike, Yu Jai-yu quickly cools down and his mood gets better. Furthermore, he also remembers his main objective for coming to the spiritual mines in the first place. He orders each and every one of his pets to start collecting all the spiritual stones they can find. As his pets dig up the stone and bring them to Yu Jai-yu, Red Fox and the pack of Tempest Wolves, amounting to 4, have the highest speeds and as such is tasked to drag the bundles of stone to him. After digging up a huge chunk of the cave, in just a measly half day, they all manage to acquire a huge amount of spiritual stones. After they all are gathered, Yu Jai-yu claims these numbers must be greater than the huge pile of sliver centipedes. Moreover, now the time has arrived for him to finally evolve and attain a higher rank. He takes a bunch of stones and absorbs them. As he wonders what he will transform into, he begins to shine and glow. Not long after, Yu Jai-yu has now evolved. His appearance has changed a lot as his body has changed color and his eyes have become fiercer. Despite now looking like a tree demon king, he claims that appearances do not matter and proceeds to check his status window, only after having a power trip after killing a few birds. As he does so, he sees how powerful he has become. In addition to having all his roots and branches evolved to level 2, he also has many more skills up his sleeve. Moreover, after his battle with the giant turtle, Yu Jai-yu has absorbed his skill and has gained the technique of sand control. As his eyes pop out after seeing this, he becomes eager to test out the power of this technique. Just like an earthbender, he makes the ground rises up and obey his command, resulting in a cool yet fearsome attack. However, he quickly finds a flaw in this skill, claiming that the range of this attack is only a few hundred meters. Realizing he will power up as he levels up, he wonders if he can move around after a while using his sand control to manipulate the ground. Soon, he wonders if he might have enough points to upgrade his life force talent, as he didn't have enough the last time. Xiao King, who is analyzing Yu Jai-yu's power from the sidelines, claims that his spiritual energy level must be over 300,000. As she claims that even the sliver centipede will no longer be a match for her master. Meanwhile, Falcon, Crane and Wild Cow return back from their search and Yu Jai-yu tells them the situation is already dealt with. Suddenly, a flower mysteriously sprouts on his body, revealing that his life force has been upgraded. As an experiment, he feeds this flower to Wild Cow, who immediately evolves into a level 9 and transforms into a more badass version of himself. As Yu Jai-yu becomes delighted at his amazing abilities and powers, the Wild Cow suddenly starts to speak. In a slow, grumbly and terrifying voice, he starts calling his master god Tree. Overjoyed after learning that monster awaken their consciousness after level 9. He wonders how strong Red Fox will become after he is level 9, claiming he will become stronger after nurturing them even after his pets awaken their consciousness. He decides to first expand his spiritual mind cave and gather more stones. On the other hand, soon after this ordeal, Xiao King returns to Ling's body. Back at the academy, she is seen to be working hard and has now become overpowered. Her body and mentality have perfectly fused and both Ling's and King's powers are combined. One day, her instructor calls her, revealing to her a whole new life form. The genes of wolf and humans mixed together, a werewolf-like creature. The instructor reveals to her that he created this fusion of DNA after countless failed experiments. In addition, he reveals that all his experimented humans came willing fully in order to help humanity survive these harsh circumstances, claiming sacrifice is necessary in order for humans to stay on top of the food chain. He expresses how his experiments are still not complete, as he states that he requires a being with immense healing and regenerative abilities. Xiao Ling realizes that the monster her instructor wanted fits the description of Yu Jai Yu perfectly. Realizing this, she makes a contorted face as her instructor continues to claim that humans cannot and will not lose in this era of spiritual energy. Meanwhile, back in the forest, a group of humans, consisting of both normal humans and super beings, get tasked to retrieve some herbs and such from the mountains. They accept, knowing not what might reside in the forest. As they enter and start looking around, they soon encounter a mutated white tiger. Its appearance leaves everyone paralyzed with fear. The men try their best to fight this beast, however, they quickly start dropping like flies. With only 2 people remaining, a super being girl named Kyan King gets told to run away and escape, as at least one person should survive and relay the events which occurred. However, she doesn't get a chance to do so as the white tiger quickly mauls everyone, leaving Kyan King to fend for herself. Facing certain death, she wonders if she will really face the outcome everyone else faced. As all these thoughts rush through her head, suddenly Yu Jai Yu's roots intervene and end up rescuing Kyan King. Being overpowered as heck, the root easily manages to injure and capture the white tiger. As Kyan King lies on the ground, almost losing consciousness, she wonders what the thing that saved her was. Yu Jai Yu then transports all the group members still alive, along with the white tiger to his location. There, the white tiger, despite acting all fearsome and arrogant just a few moments earlier, is now acting timid and shy after being surrounded by his pets. Yu Jai Yu reveals he has gotten a new skill after upgrading his life essence, revealing his sap can now turn monsters and beasts affectionate towards him and increase intimacy. As such, he decides to test this out on the white tiger, who immediately drops his demeanor and starts licking Yu Jai Yu's trunk. Amazed at the instant results, he wonders what will happen if he feeds the sap to the girl he rescued. As he approaches to feed her, she wakes up. Thinking that Yu Jai Yu is going to molest her with tentacle play, she starts to scream, but his intentions are not similar to her expectations. After feeding her the sap, he asks her to stay with him and train his pets. At first, Kyan King refuses to stay with the tree demon, however, as the sap takes effect, she immediately agrees. He then asks what her awakened talent is, as she states it's female intuition. He laughs at this ability and decides to see how far the sap's effect spread. As such, he orders Kyan King to praise him, which she does. Deciding to push his luck, he then tells her to strip. Hearing this, Kyan King quickly becomes embraced and blushingly refuses, claiming she doesn't want. Disheartened by her refusal, Yu Jai Yu then proceeds to feed his sap to the other 2 humans he saved, revealing he wants them to teach Red Fox and Wild Cow about human knowledge. He tells he wanted to rely on Xiao King, but she is quite busy. And so, these mere humans are now tasked with nurturing and teaching Yu Jai Yu's esteemed pets. Using his branches, he creates lodging for his newly acquired slaves, which is okay because they consent to stay, despite them being coerced under the influence. Now being able to move freely, it is time for Yu Jai Yu to finally ascend as a god. However, due to the current circumstance of the world, he claims anything can happen, and as a result, he needs to be prepared for all situations. Consequently, after putting the humans in their rooms, he begins to check his status window once again. After defeating the giant turtle, he managed to gather 13,432 evolution points. Therefore, he proceeds to level up sand control, learning that since he is now transcended to rank 2, all of the enhancements and strengthening will require a lot more points. After crying about how expensive everything is now, he accepts the transaction, leveling up sand control to level 2. Deciding to test it out, he again uses the technique, noticing that the destructive power has now increased drastically. However, the range is still limited to 100 meters. As such, he levels the skill even more, now becoming able to make hills with his branches and cause huge-scale earthquakes with ease. In spite of the sheer awesomeness of this skill, Yu Jiayu claims that he could end up putting a strain on the main body, so he should first try and get this ability under complete control in order to get the entire territory under his command. Meanwhile, on another continent, a huge tsunami hits a bustling city, causing havoc. Furthermore, inside the tsunami, there are multiple mutated beasts present. In addition, 2 transcended beasts are also seen. 5 hours after this appearance, in yet another country along the shoreline, the political assembly is up in arms. It is revealed that they too have been hit by these sea beasts. Aaron, an assistant of the Prime Minister, reveals that this beast, a gold-patterned eel, is a rank 3 and its estimated power level is about 250,000. Nonetheless, they have managed to drive it away after 3 nuclear attacks. Despite their efforts, there is no confirmation if the beast is still alive, and the oceans of this world have now become more dangerous than ever before. On the other hand, back at the territory of our friendly tree demon, the humans Yu Jiayu got his hands on and captured are now working according to his wishes and are slowly getting more and more adjusted to the surrounding. Kaiyan King is tasked with teaching knowledge to the beasts, while Tong and Feng, both super beings as well, are tasked to be a trainer and chefs respectively. 3 days have passed since they found themselves here. In order to avoid getting killed at the hands of Yu Jiayu, they decide to keep on doing the tasks assigned to them. As they have lunch, they also discuss how they never thought that a tree with wisdom would be present in this world. They also claim that if the military knew of Yu Jiayu's presence, they would use all their might to try and eliminate him. Meanwhile, Xiao King has come back after her training to visit Yu Jiayu. There, she inquires as to why he kept these humans around. He replies that their knowledge is very important to him. She also reveals to him the recent appearance of the rank 3 eel. She adds that the eel got attacked by 3 nuclear weapons, however only one connected while the rest were bounced off. Yu Jiayu is perplexed and wishes to learn more. As such, King claims that the beast used sound pressure to manipulate and change the missile's trajectory, making them bounce off. Furthermore, even after getting hit by one weapon, the eel managed to return back to the deep sea. Witnessing the scary side of humans and how far they are willing to go in order to protect their kind, he realizes unlike the eel he has no place to escape. Consequently, he decides to find even stronger companions to aid him in future endeavors. In addition, he also wants to build an underground empire, and so he gets to work, capturing and taming a wild boar. Moreover, he helps evolve an alligator into an ancient emperor alligator and tames it. Having extreme strength, this ancient emperor alligator wishes to decide the ranking between him and Red Fox, provoking it to a fight. As a result, a ferocious battle ensues. Red Fox, level 9, an ancient emperor alligator revealed to be on the same level as Red Fox, face each other and start attacking, wasting no time hesitating. As all the other pets, including the humans, watch this battle from the sidelines, they predict and anticipate the outcome. The alligator uses an air blade, a technique which launches a sharp burst of winds to attack. However, Red Fox is unfazed and dodges them all, trying to close the distance between him and his foe. But he gets a little too close, allowing his opponent to bite down on his foot and stop his movements. Furthermore, he then gets flying after a body slam, as Tong protects the other humans. Not letting this opportunity slip by, Ancient Emperor Alligator rushes in yet again, opening his big mouth to bite Red Fox and shred his body. Nonetheless, Red Fox is also not going down without a fight and uses fire breathing to evade. After their fierce clash, both of the fighters acknowledge each other's strength and smirk at each as the battle is stopped. Witnessing this battle makes Tong realize something crucial, and he gets lost in thought. The next day, while hunting along with Red Fox, he decides to have a talk with Yu Jiayu. As Tong approaches him, he reveals the reason behind his visit. He claims he wants to receive Yu Jiayu's nourishment, his divine sap. Stating that this world is the survival of the fittest, he is just a weakling with no other talents and abilities, and so he hopes that the tree god can help him become stronger. However, his request is immediately turned down as Yu Jiayu, while making an angry and terrifying face, claims he will not trust someone who has betrayed their own kind. In addition, he orders Tong to go back to his duties, and after apologizing for wasting time, he immediately leaves. After he leaves, Xiao King wonders why her master denied the request for his sap. As such, he explains that he is kind enough to let him live in these pristine environments. He reveals that just by living here, the humans have stocked up on good and pure spiritual energy, which has resulted in them becoming significantly stronger and has increased their level by a lot. Xiao King claims that this is good news, as these humans will prove to be handy to them in the upcoming days. Yu Jiayu also adds that humans are selfish beings and they regularly betray each other for one's own benefit. And in order to be clear of any chance of betrayal, he needs to observe his slaves some more. As their conversation comes to an end, he states that the forest has now entered the smooth phase and that the only thing they really need to worry about is staying low-key and hidden in order to not attract any unwanted attention. Xiao King also reveals that the sliver centipede has been captured by the humans and they are now using this beast for an experiment. She also claims she is thinking about absorbing the centipede's soul, which will allow her to ascend to rank 1. Yu Jiayu warns her, telling her that these situations are not child's play and that there is a good chance that her soul is the one which gets absorbed instead. Nonetheless, King is confident in her abilities and makes this clear, and so he agrees to her plan, thinking to himself how much progress King has made after staying with humans, so much so that she is now able to consider problems and their solutions on her own. Suddenly, they hear a commotion nearby. Upon investigation, the commotion is caused by fighting between the ancient Emperor Alligator and Honey Badger, who has high pride and claims to be the strongest even when he's not. Yu Jiayu realizes that his pets are now getting stronger and are at rank 1 second peak. As such, he decides to call them all out. As the pets gather, he reveals that he is going to allow a few pets to leave so they can train on their own. Choosing Red Fox, Wild Cow, and Ancient Emperor Alligator to leave, he decides to not include White Tiger because he is too stupid. Red Fox is proclaimed the boss of the strongest beast, named Nine Tails from now forth. The second, third, and fourth ranks belong to Wild Cow, now named Demon Cow, White Tiger, and Ancient Emperor Alligator, placed in fourth because of his recent entrances. He tells them that they will obey him as the great 9 demon beasts, and tells them to roam freely, except for in human cities. On the other hand, King, in Ling's body, approaches the sliver centipede. Despite having his head detached from its body, the beast is revealed to be still alive. She tells the monster that instead of suffering his entire life, he should become Ling's new source of power. As such, the soul fusing starts. The end. For now.